Hi there guys, it's Adrian here from IAmJadoreTV, and I have a tutorial for you today on how I use the tone curve in Lightroom. Now this isn't a perfect way, there isn't a right way, well in my opinion there isn't a right way how to use this. It's how you style or edit, how you want your edits to come out like. So this is just how I do it. Now you can take obviously with this with a pinch of salt. I'll show you that sort of different ways to how to get some different looks and different ways of using tone curves. So let's get into this one. So here we have a picture I got from a recent photography meetup in London. This was in Shoreditch, don't know exactly where, but this was in Shoreditch. This was taken model Paula. If you want to check her out in the link below. So without further ado, let's get to the tone curve. So here it says channel. Now this is RGB. Now this is sort of the dark tones, the shadows, and basically the highlights of the picture. So you can kind of give it more contrast, less contrast, or more whites in the highlights, up and down basically. And you can make it look very moody. If I show you a basic rule of thumb, is to make, you want a slight S in the tone curve. So what you have to do, make a point here, and what you can do if you make a mistake, what you do is right click, delete control point, and it's gone. Or if you mess up the whole thing, you can just flatten curve, and all points across the whole line will flatten out. So if you want to make a slight S, this is like a basic kind of default way to use the tone curve. So you want to make a pointer right here, bring it down. As you can see what it's done there. So you look at the picture there, that's before, and then if you redo that, you can see the difference. See, it kind of gives it a little bit of a kick. What you want to do is go about here. So this is like the second box to the last one, and you kind of bring it up. So you kind of can see, you can obviously exaggerate this one. We can put that up here, bring this down here. So let's do a quick before and after here, side by side. You can kind of see it's gave it a bit of a oomph. Now again, you can play with this more. So if we bring this down, you can see it more exaggerated what it's done there. Now another thing to make it quite moody is what you've seen a lot of maybe portraits, is it kind of has like a haze on the picture. And how to achieve this is you want to bring the bottom point and you want to bring it upwards, and then at a certain point you should see it starts to get quite hazy. But as you can see, it's kind of got this effect that's quite not so great. So what you have to do is level it out. As you can see, if you just level it out or bring that control point up so it's kind of level, that's when you kind of get that even mask sort of effect there. So that's usually the basic default. How a lot of people tend to use it is the S shape, is how I've learned to use it through tutorials and other photographers. But that's how, if you want to use the RGB version, that's how you would sort of use that one. Again, you can raise the contrast or lessen the contrast on that one. That's, again, it's not a perfect way to use it, but it is a lot of recommended way to use that one is the S shape. Now if we flatten this one, now if you click that, you can see it's got the reds, green and blue. So that's what RGB is actually stands for. So that kind of is kind of just controlling overall, and it's just more the highlights and the shadows and the contrast and all that. It's not really affecting the colors. So if we're going to go deeper into that, let's click a red. Or before that, let's do the basic curve here, highlight, bring that down to about here. Now let's go into, let's start with the red. Now again, a lot of people use the S shape, and quite a complicated S shape with loads of different points. I don't tend to do that. I tend to do it how it looks. I don't really go by a formula. I always go about how it looks, because each picture you take, the lighting is going to be different, the settings are going to be different, the settings on your camera are going to be different, so you can't really just paste a formula onto each and every picture. So what I'm going to do is I tend to raise, give it a bit of warmth. I mean, again, I'm probably going to change this as I go along, so you're getting the raw uncut version of how I edit my pictures basically as well. So what we can do, we can drop that. You can see there's taking the reds out of it. Add another control point to straighten the middle part back onto the line. And now we're going to the highlight section. Now I'm going to bring that down, and this is where it gets quite interesting and tony. So now I think it's kind of looking a bit weird, the colour looking a bit, I don't know, greenish in the highlights. So what we're going to do is go to the next one, bring that down, and again we're just playing with it, seeing what we can get away with. Again, I'm not liking the shape or the effect this is given, so I'm going to bring this down. Again, we're just trying to replicate, because the S is sort of a guideline of how it's going to come out. So again, we're going to go with the blue. Now we're going to raise. Again, we're just eyeballing it. Probably thinking this looks rubbish right about now, but trust me, this is just one of the stages that we're going to go through. Lessening the blue and the highlight there. Just bring this down. We can slightly bring that up. Slightly bring this up. Again, we can make another fade effect by doing this as well. Now you're probably thinking all the highlights is quite high, it's quite washed out. But what we can do is, this is why we have these settings here. Bring that down. The whites, and as you can see, the details now starting to come back. Just lessen that, add a bit of contrast. I'm going to bring up the shadows quite a bit, push the blacks, give a bit more clarity. And what we're going to do, we're going to kind of bring more tension out from her and the background. I'm not really a fan of graffiti. If you are, you can leave these colours in, but I don't like a lot of graffiti in my shot. So what I'm going to do is, we're targeting these colours here. So you see those purples and the magentas, we're just going to take those out. And also I just wanted to take away from our subject here. We don't want too much because we've got yellow in our hair, so we don't want to take away too much of that. So you just want to go through the rest. Sharpening, I always just add a bit more sharpening here. I always up the radius. I don't touch the detail. I might lessen the detail. Done a nice sharp image. Effects, I love dehaze because it's not as strong as the contrast, and it gives it, as you can see what it's just done there, it just kind of gives again more detail. Just takes away a bit of the haze. So as you can see from what I've done here to what I've just accomplished through the tone curves, from that to adjusting the rest of the settings, it's just brought out all the detail again. As you saw in earlier in the video, it was kind of washed out and the highlights were overpowering. This is what it's in combination of. It's not a tool to use by itself. I mean, you can if you don't do too much editing, but as you can see here, in combination, it does make a great moody shot, and the tones and everything just all comes together. So what else and I like to do is, this is my favorite of all of them, is the camera calibration. Now they have several like modes here: vivid, standard, stuff for portrait, neutral, light, landscape, deep and clear. My personal favorite is clear, which I use for probably 99.9% of mine. Now because I usually use the camera calibration first, so the clear may be too overpowering. So we just chuck on clear here. Again, see it's got too much blacks for my liking, so we're gonna up those blacks here. Again, it's gonna look bright. All we have to do is drop that to about there. As you can see, if you thought it was fine, I say I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave it at the standard, at what it was before, because I believe it was better. As again, guys, I'm not perfect myself. As I said earlier, I will go back and forth with obviously my decisions of what I've made, just to see what suits best. This is just a quick little tutorial on how I use the curves. Again, there's no perfect way, as you've seen. So we'll have a look a bit before and after, and as you can see, it's totally transformed the colors, the shadows, contrast and everything. So that's how I use the tone curves. Again, take it with a pinch of salt. Use it how you see fit, but this is just a rough guideline. That's how I do it. Just see how it will work for you and your photos. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, give it to a share who's someone who needs to watch this, and don't forget I have got a preset just like how I've just edited this one, a perfect preset for you guys in the link below. So check my website out for that one. And this picture will be up on my Instagram very soon, probably tomorrow, or depending on when you're watching this, it's probably already up. So check my Instagram out at IAmJadoreTV. The link is in the description below, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.